What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Opinionated Off-Topic. Today I'm with Carlos Mojica, co-owner, co-founder of Opinionated Media. I'm Cam Theory, co-owner, co-founder of Opinionated Media. We're with Kyce Wilson. Super excited to get to know him better, chop it up. He actually reached out to us, and, you know, it's always cool to meet people and, you know, kind of share thoughts, break bread on camera. So super excited to hear his journey, and let's get into this episode. So.
Yeah, man. Really appreciate being here. Like I said off camera, got a lot of respect for you guys. You know, saw the consistency over probably the 6 months that I've known y'all, or seen y'all. Mm-hmm. But I brought this book. So a while ago, I met with an investor, and I wish I had two for both of you, but he gave me a book. And so now every time I do one of these, I'm trying to give out a book to anybody.
Okay.
So you did say you read. If you don't want to read that, you can gift it. So.
Bro, I'll check this out. Definitely. I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Chris Hogan, Retire Inspired. It's not an age, it's a financial number. So I'll be checking this out, and then I'll pass it along to Carlos, and we'll start reading.
That.
Yeah, I
first,
appreciate that.
yeah,
That's the first one.
Yeah,
of course.
First on
First
camera.
one?
Yeah.
Love it.
Appreciate
Yeah.
that.
It's always a first for everything.
Like he said, appreciate you taking time out your day. I mean, for you to say that you've been keeping up with us for 6 months, it's crazy to think about, but it means a lot. I mean, we've been doing this for 4 or 5 years now, and it's a grind, especially like just always trying to be on time with stuff and get stuff out and do stuff. So it's always nice to get flowers back. So appreciate that, and appreciate you taking time out your day. Even it's been a shitty day, but we needed the rain, so it's okay.
Yeah, we did.
We needed the rain,
did
so it's
that.
okay.
No,
I
I love the weather today, man. I was like,
I mean, I'll take it rather than it being hot. But I saw yesterday that this summer it was over 176 times hit over 100.
oh yeah, easy.
And this is the last one. The last highest was 53, and that was back in 2018. So it crushed like the last when it was hot like that. But yeah, it's been crazy. But just give us a little backstory. Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of people don't believe me when I say this, but I'm actually from England. I was born in a small town called Peterborough. Moved around a little bit, not a military brat or anything, but I went to high school here, like Leander, north of here. And, you know, I was playing basketball and didn't really think I was going to, you know, go play collegiately. It turns out somehow, you know, over the summer of what would have been 2018, I just somehow developed a shot. Like I was just making shots on the court. And I was able to get, you know, number 1 3-point percentage in Central Texas. That was on Statesman back in 2018. And I started getting offers and, you know, started meeting with coaches and different things like that. And I found myself at LeTourneau University in Longview, Texas, like far east Texas on the border of Louisiana. You know, I played freshman year. I was able to receive to win a championship ring, which was, you know, fantastic. It's something that, you know, a lot of people don't get to say they did, you know, win a championship ring in any level of collegiate sports. You know, went on to play sophomore year. We had a bit of a coaching change that sophomore year. So I thought, you know, because of that, I was going to get a little bit more PT and, you know, kind of get into my role. I always, you know, believed in my abilities. Junior year came, we had a bit of a coaching switch and it kind of didn't go my way. And in that sense, I kind of fell out of love with basketball. And so I quit playing basketball and started playing golf. And in that time, you know, I saw, you know, quite a lot of different stuff going on in school that was contrary to what I was seeing in real life. I started trading stocks, you know, making a good amount of money there. And I would, you know, before I was saying this, I was, you know, day trading and making a good amount of money and teaching people. And then I would go to class and our teachers would tell us something about, you know, the markets and how to trade and do different things. And it was completely wrong. It was, like I said, contrary to what I was doing in real life. And I thought, hey, like, you know, we're leading kids down a path that they're not truly understanding, and they're not given the right, you know, metrics, and they're not given the right, you know, structure for how life actually goes. And I said, hey, you know, I don't want to spend the extra $20,000, $40,000 this next semester finishing school when, you know, I can go out and start getting into the workforce. And so that's what I did. I went out into the workforce and quit school. And, you know, a lot of people call me crazy. You know, it's kind of crazy to go 4 years in college, you know, get to senior year and then not finish.
A semester left.
Yeah. But, you know, I'm a big believer in self-belief. You know, I don't believe in doubt, and I believe in my abilities. And if you can see it in your mind and you know, make it happen, I think that's the most powerful thing that you can have. And so that's kind of where we're at now. That was only 6-7 months ago, which is crazy to me because I felt
really
like
that.
Yeah, that's
wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Crazy,
it's crazy to me thinking about it. You know, it's like like 6 months ago, I left school and, all my friends are still in. Moved to San Antonio for a little bit, started working in real estate, which is kind of my passion. It's kind of the direction that I sort of want to go, if that makes sense. And everybody called me crazy, but like I said, self-belief. And at that time, that's kind of when I started my own, side Instagram podcast, KRK, Keeping It Real with Kyce. And that was all based around motivation, inspiration, trying to inspire people. And unfortunately, when I decided to make a move to Austin, first week I was back here. I left my golf clubs. I left all of my camera equipment in my trunk, and that got stolen. So, I'm still trying to get my camera equipment and everything.
Yeah,
and
it's not cheap.
And kind of, no, it's definitely not cheap. So, but yeah, that's kind of me, and a little bit, about what I've been doing for the past, 6 months. So.
Yeah. I guess take us back to your time as a kid, man. In England, like you lived in England growing up, and it's just like moved to America. What was England like? And then what was it like? Was it like a culture shock moving to America?
Well, I'll tell you what. I was quite young. I lived in England for about 6 years. So I came to the States when I was 7. I was born in 2000. So I came here when 2007. Moved to Orlando, and it was, like you said, culture shock. I mean, the way I pronounce words, I'd say water and different things like, no, and it's like, these people don't understand me, and, now I don't have an accent. I wish I did. Apparently, what my dad tells me, I have 3 older brothers, but one is full. He's the one that kind of moved over with me. They were saying that I was getting bullied or he was getting bullied, and so he would kind of, have to fight for his little brother and stuff, and so over time, we kind of just adopted the American, we assimilated because we didn't want to get bullied, and so that's kind of why that happened. But I don't have too much memory of England really. My parents split up in Orlando shortly after that, and so my mom kind of left, so I lost that British kind of influence in my life kind of young, and so like I said, I just kind of became Americanized quickly, and it wasn't really that big of a deal for me. Now, my brother, of course, was a different story because he's, 7 years older than me. He's 30.
Yeah.
So
I guess when your time in England, was soccer ever in your life?
Football.
Well, football for y'all.
Football.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it was. Again, I don't really remember too much. Just like, I have little, spots. I have spots of memories.
Yeah.
And that's
it's just such a big thing over there.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you like who did you follow in the Premier League and stuff like that.
It's funny. I used to love PSG, which is crazy. The French is
French,
like, they're bickering there, but. Yeah, I love PSG when they had Zlatan. I love Zlatan. That's my guy. I used to have a man bun like him, so I felt like I was him. And he has that kind of, I don't know, like people don't really like him because he's kind of just like out there.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that about him. He's not scared to say what he wants to say.
Have you read his book yet?
I have not read his book.
Yeah,
I didn't even know he had a book.
Yeah, I think it's like I Am Zlatan, like just about him. It's like an autobiography type deal. Yeah, that's cool. So I guess you come over here, you drop out, and then obviously you have all these, circumstances come up. What made you decide? Could you repeat your podcast name again too? Because I was trying to look it up.
KRK, Keeping It Real with Kyce. I think I changed it to Keeping It Real Pod on YouTube, so you'll find it there. Yeah.
So you started your podcast, Keeping It Real Pod.
Yeah.
And I guess going into that, what made you want to get into podcasting and talking? Because we talk about it now. At the time when we wanted to start our podcast, there wasn't a ton of podcasts out there, and ours is mainly, to talk sports and have a platform.
Yeah.
But now it's like you look up, everyone has a podcast. It's even like a meme now if you have a podcast. So, kind of what made you decide to go that route?
Throughout high school and college, especially college, I don't want to say a lot of people looked up to me. That's definitely not what it was. But I'd say a lot of people came to me naturally for advice. Like I didn't portray myself as somebody who's a teacher or somebody who coaches, but a lot of people kind of came to me for advice. Like I said, I was investing in the stock market. I was helping a lot of people out there, doing a little bit of real estate, helping people there. And, I think people were kind of attracted to my mindset. I think maybe that's what it is. And so people kind of, like I said earlier, just naturally gravitated to me and just asked me questions and that sort of stuff. And so I thought if so many people are asking me, kind of the same thing, how do you think? What's your mindset? I thought, well, probably more people want to hear about it. And so I decided, let's go ahead and just start it and kind of reach the masses. I got to say, too, Instagram is crazy. The algorithm is crazy. You know, I had a few videos, you know, like 100 likes, 200 likes, whatever. And then I started to kind of, and I wasn't doing it for too long because, like I said, the camera got broken. But, man, I think I had one or two that popped off, like 50,000 views, like a few thousand likes. And it's just like, it's like that.
Yep.
You know? So, it's, I mean, you know, social media and that whole.
It was social media in general, because we've had a few videos that are like over 100K, and it's just.
Yeah.
It's random.
It's random.
And then, like, yeah, like literally last week we had a sports video hit like 132K. Then we've been posting consistently since then. We've had a few hit over 1,000, but it's not like really staggered content. I feel like too, a big thing which might be a little easier with people probably like your age is the collaboration aspect. I think like creators and even like this, like doing podcasts with each other and like shooting content, I think like the way to grow quicker is to not only be consistent, but like collab with the right people and, you know, kind of strategize your content. Cause I feel like people are just like, let me just put it out. But if you can kind of strategically move and like, you know, shoot with a certain person, or you talk to a person that might have the same niche or same focus of what you're trying to do, then your audience will grow together. Cause their audience might be like, oh, I like what he's saying about the same topics I like. I'm going to go follow him. And then it kind of just compounds.
Yeah. So. The collaboration thing, I think, I'm not sure if you guys interviewed him, but Josh, I think his last name is like Mud. I don't know if he's watching this.
I don't know.
Sorry, bro. His name's Josh. He's in like the fitness, kind of same thing, motivation, fitness type.
Jake, Juan, him?
No. I think his name's Josh Mudson. I think it's Mudson.
Okay. I don't know if we've done him yet.
Shout out Josh, but I talked to him a little bit on DMs, and I was kind of asking him for advice, you know, same thing. I think I saw you guys were connected.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, man, like what do I need to do? And he says, you know, those collaborations with people in your niche are something that's going to propel you forward. And so that's, you know, kind of where I was leaning until all my equipment got stolen.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's tough, bro. I'm sorry to hear that. Because it just pains me because I mean, we talk about it all the time. Like, there's always something coming out or something new that can help your production and take your quality up a level. Because I think a lot of people will see like a clip or whatever, and if it doesn't look a certain way, especially now it's so ultra competitive, like yours has to like fit a standard. It has to look a certain way, it has to sound a certain way. Because if it doesn't, some people, even though the content you're saying might be great content, you know, good information, somebody's gonna be like, it doesn't look like what I normally see, so I'm just gonna click off of it. So I definitely feel for you on that. That's tough, bro. I'm sorry to hear that.
The collaboration thing, at least with our age, I just don't get why people don't, because you gain so many different ears and eyes from just collaborating with people. Yeah, and just new people who've never heard of you. And so it's just like, why would you not?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people, and I had this issue too, I think a lot of people want to be the lone wolf, you know, and I'd say up until about 6 months ago, I wanted to be the lone wolf too. You know, I think everybody speaks from experience, and they are the way they are because of what they've been through in life. And I think maybe from, you know, my past, whatever, I'm not a victim at all, but I think from my past, I've had this feeling of like, I'm going to do everything myself. You know, I'm going to do it my way. And I think that might be the same thing for like new creators. You know, they might think that, you know, they just want to do it themselves. They don't need help. And that's, you know, not a necessarily healthy mindset to have.
Yeah, because the way I see it is just, there's enough room in any realm that you're in for everybody. Like, no one's going to listen to just you as a podcast. He listens to 5-10 different podcasts.
Right. Abundance mindset.
Yeah, there's just like, because they can like us for just one reason. They can like you for just one reason. It could be quote unquote the same thing, but just the way we say stuff and the way we do stuff is completely different, and that's what they like about it. So I've never understood why people want to be the lone wolf when there's enough room for everybody.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What has like sports helped you with, like starting your podcast, doing day trading, and I guess your real estate as well? Has like playing sports your whole life helped you at all? With like that?
I'd say it definitely helps me in terms of camaraderie. You know, I learned pretty early that brotherhood and having good people around you, not just guys, but girls as well, having good people around you is something that is absolutely necessary. You know, I think that's something that'll propel you forward because, you know, one mind, you know, one is or two is always better than one, right? And so even though you think that you're right all the time, you have all the right answers, some other person is going to bring in a new perspective that is going to change, the way that you think or change the way you do things. And so, I learned definitely pretty young that having good people around you to support you that you can lean on is something that's extremely important. So I'd definitely say that. And of course, the hard work, the consistency thing, college sports is a grind. 5 a.m. you're waking up, you're going to a 3-hour workout at 6 o'clock, and then you're going to breakfast. You understand?
Yeah.
And then you go to class, and you got another 3-hour workout. Then you're eating again. Then you're doing homework, and you're going right to sleep and doing it all over.
That.
Film, forgot about that, and then do it all over again for I don't know 8 months out of the year. It's a long season, basketball and football.
Yeah. Speaking on that too, how much do you think playing sports, especially at the collegiate level, because it's such a drastic jump from not even casually doing it in high school. You can be super dedicated in high school, super focused, but even then, you go to college and it's whoa, I'm not taking this as serious as I want to. There's guys going in watching film when I'm not watching film. Obviously you have your scheduled time with your coach or whatever, but you can do more, right? So I guess playing sports in the collegiate level, and then once you decided that you wanted to go a different path in life, what tendencies have you taken from that and applied it to, your other mindset, entrepreneuring, creating, curating, all that stuff? Because I've always been curious to hear what other athletes have to say about that.
That's a great question. Can I cuss on here?
Yeah, go for it.
I'd probably say eating the shit.
Yeah.
Eating the shit, it's such a grind. Like we just spoke about, it's such a grind, and there's a lot of times that you want to stop. You're so sore, and there's somebody yelling in your ear telling you to do something that you don't want to do. But ultimately, you just get up and keep doing it. It's like that thing where motivation versus discipline. It's like that motivation might be there for a little stint. You might read a great book, and you might be super motivated to go and do something, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks go by, then that motivation starts creeping out, and then it's you're not doing it anymore. But it's that discipline. It's okay, this is just something that I have to do regardless of how I feel. I think that's definitely something that I took from sports, is that, no matter what it is I'm doing, my feelings don't contribute to what I'm doing at all. I'm still going to execute no matter what. Yeah. And it's funny because I dropped out and stopped everything, but I took that over.
But I think you've played sports for so long. Well, we played sports for so long that it just kind of stays with you. That mindset, it's a competitive mindset. So it just kind of stays with you. You're a competitor, I want to win. I want to win. I want to win. And if I stop, I'm not going to win.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I definitely took that as well.
Yeah. So. Going back a little bit, when did you pick up golf? Because you just randomly threw that in there. But it's going to lead me to a question. But when did you pick up golf?
Oh, man. It was late. My dad used to force me to play when I was young, maybe 10, 11 years old. But I used to skateboard, and it's funny as crap. I thought I was going to be a Red Bull, skateboarder type guy. But, my dad used to say, you take me to the course and say, hey, you hit this drive well, I'll take you to the skate park after this. And I kind of started playing from then. And I've always kind of been lanky, I've always kind of been taller than everybody, kind of lanky, so a bit of an advantage there. And I've always hit the ball well, but I kind of stopped and didn't play until maybe high school. I was picking it up a little bit. When I got to college, we had some great courses surrounding the university, and I got became good friends with some of the golfers and stuff, and kind of got access to those courses, and I just started playing a lot more. So probably college. For sure. And, there's an aspect to it. I started to get into networking and meeting with, business people, different things like that. And golf is
the right sports.
You learn to golf, you're going to be good, man. These CEOs, C-suite executives, business owners, business people. I mean, they all love golf. Even if they're not good, it's just to be out there, have a good time, enjoy the landscape, and do that.
Because he just went. I don't know if it's his first time.
It was my first 18. So I played my first 18 probably 2-3 weeks ago with some of my bosses, and I was just I was texting him because I was just I'm not good. It's my first time playing, but I had a few good shots, and I was damn, this is kind of fun. But it's being competitive as an ex-athlete. I was getting so mad and frustrated, but I was just damn, I can't wait to get a set of cheap clubs and start playing and getting good and getting reps. And then I was talking to him when you can you travel, right? You can go travel and then play golf at all these courses around the world, and I think no matter what, you can always play golf, and it's not super strenuous on the body, so you can do it with a lot of people, anyone, So I love it. I think it's especially a great pastime as you get older, too.
Yeah, well, because what I was gonna say was I feel like golf's the best sport that you can play when you can't like officially compete anymore.
Yes.
Because it helps you so much mentally.
People play golf forever, man.
It just helps you so much mentally, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like just being on the course and you hit a bad shot, it's like,
well,
fuck,
it's you against you.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
what other sport are you like solely dependent on you and what you do? Not a lot.
Baseball, that's being a pitcher, or
Tennis,
kind of just baseball.
But even
in general.
baseball, it's like you're still relying on your team.
Your team,
you know,
yeah,
it's
because
like it's
baseball's
golf.
like
It's just you.
baseball's like a team sport, but an individual sport. It's weird because that's what I play.
The only other thing I can think of is tennis, maybe.
Tennis.
Maybe
running,
tennis.
cycling. I
Yeah,
guess.
cycling,
it's just-
track, like those individual
yeah,
sports.
yeah,
I
yeah,
guess
of
like
course.
stuff like that. But
Yeah.
even then, like the longevity of that stuff is, pretty short. Like you
Right.
said, you play golf forever. I mean, look at Phil Mickelson. Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
he's still
Phil
playing
Mickelson.
forever. Like,
Yeah.
Bubba Watson.
yeah, it's like these people are still playing. So
Even Tiger Woods, I mean,
Yeah.
he broke his back
Yeah.
and his knees and his legs
Yeah.
10 times over, and he's still
Still
playing.
playing.
Like he's still swinging.
But yeah, I feel like it's a great sport that you can keep playing. That just keeps your mind just mentally just there, because it is frustrating and it's hard.
Yeah.
And especially if you don't play every day or practice every day, you're gonna suck. That's just the way it is. That's how golf is. You're gonna suck.
Yeah.
And then when you go out there, obviously you want to do good too. You want to compete. And then you're just like, when you hit a bad shot, you get mad. It's like, fuck. And then, but it's so rewarding when you do hit a good shot. It's like,
Right.
that felt so good. Let's do that again.
Yeah.
So I feel like golf's a great game that just keeps you level-headed and keeps your mental strong.
You know, it's funny. I'm actually thinking about this now that you're saying that. I used to have like mad anger issues, and I've come to terms with that. But I used to be like super angry all the time. Like I just, flip a switch.
Yeah.
And even with golf, like I used to play with my dad. I'd throw my clubs and do all this crazy shit. But when I started to play golf more and truly be in the moment, like enjoying the landscape and everything, I found myself being a lot less like combative and reactive. Like in all areas of life. It's weird, because like you're out there, you're just enjoying the landscape, and you're just doing your thing, and it's like everything is kind of calm. You realize like, oh, you hit a bad shot. It's your own mind, and when you start to be able to calm your mind down, that kind of translates to your whole life.
Yeah, that's crazy. Because I was gonna ask you what did that for you, because mine was like I didn't have anger issues, but I had like a lot of other. Excuse me. I don't know if I would call them mental battles, but I had a lot of like other personal battles and growth that I had to deal with, like I needed to do. But it wasn't until like a breakup when I like flipped a switch and all that came into play, and that's when I like matured a lot and grew as a person.
Amen, brother. You hit it on the nail. Them breakups, them breakups, boy.
hey, nah,
breakups go crazy.
Definitely. Like, I feel like just life, like once you're going through stuff, going through, certain experiences, it really does mold you. Because even like similar to him, like was in like a tough situation, romantically, and then putting that energy and focus and just seeing like, damn, like I'm letting like this person dictate everything I could be doing and accomplishing. And then you start surrounding yourself with like-minded people and peers. Because talk about it with him, like me and him grew up together, but we got close like once I went to college. Like we were always close, but we became like best friends when I was in college. And then now even people I grew up with, or he's probably grown up with, we're still good friends with him, still close with him. But meeting people like you that we haven't known for a long time, or anyone that comes onto the platform, and then seeing that they're doing stuff like trying to better themselves, change their life. And there's nothing wrong with people doing whatever they want to, but it's more so that they understand what you're doing. Like they understand the difficulties of trying to either create a product, sell something, become an entrepreneur, do something that's kind of outside the norm. And I think there's just a certain appreciation when you meet someone else that's doing that. And also, that there's times where they probably want to give up, but I think you have that synergy when you meet somebody. It's like, if this person's not giving up and, they're like one of my peers, and like, why would I give up? Like I can't let them down. So I think it's super cool just to kind of like the life experiences kind of gravitate you to the people you need to be around.
Yeah, absolutely. You said something there about kind of, challenging the norm or doing something outside of the norm. And that's, that's why I'm here. It's why I do what I do. It's motivation for me. We talk about motivation. I think that is my motivation, trying to be outside the norm. I think life in our society has been, put in a box. Like everyone's in this box, and anyone who operates outside of this box is, something labeled with something, normally a negative something, because this box is where they want you to be. And, I've always thought outside of that box, like there has to be more to this than just doing the, what they call the American dream. I mean, everybody knows, go to school, get debt, get a car, get the degree, and then you're going to work, and then you're 60, and then you're finally going to retire with, however much dollars. I don't think that's a happy life. I don't think that's a life worth living, but I think I used to, the old part of me used to say, I don't want to be around people or talk to people who don't believe in that. And I think as I've matured, especially in the past, year, I start to accept more people and say, hey, it doesn't matter what you do. My life is my life. I'm still going to do me no matter what. But I think I used to be focused on what other people weren't doing the way that I thought they should be doing it. And that messed me up, honestly. I didn't realize it. So I had to come to terms with that.
And when you get your new camera, get a Sony.
I want to.
Get the ZV-1.
Yeah, ZV-1 is very portable. Like you can use it.
You could vlog with it if you wanted to.
You can shoot, like you look like you're in great shape. Like you could shoot like gym content with it if you want. A podcast, like one of our friends, Peyton, he has a big ass podcast, and like they're still shooting on like ZV-1s.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
No. 650? That's not bad at all.
Yeah.
So,
get the ZV-1.
I was expecting it to be a lot more.
No. That's why I recommend it to you. It's a great camera for the price. Yeah. And I don't recommend shooting in 4K, but you can shoot in 4K. Yeah.
So you're the video guy?
I
don't mean to say that.
No. I'm a technology guy.
Technology guy.
Yeah. So that's why I said I do most of my reading on the computer.
Yeah.
I just love technology.
Yeah.
So I'm just always reading stuff about technology and new stuff and all that good stuff. So.
Yeah.
But I'm learning more because our main videographer, he's nice with the camera, but he's teaching me a lot, and I'm working with him a lot more, going to concerts, shooting concerts and whatnot.
Yeah.
So that's been fun. And then I'm about to, I'm gonna hit with the guy he's going to the bachelor party with for him. Once he gets back, I'm gonna hit him up and see.
You like house music?
I do.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's grown on me because that's
what I didn't say. It's grown.
It's grown on me because I'm a hip hop head, R&B strictly, and then I do like country a lot and like melodic music. But like house music, it's definitely grown on me. I feel like I just have an appreciation for like the DJ because we had DJ Chow on and like just hearing him talk about DJing and stuff. I was like, it's because if you're in the right vibe, I think like right club, like right ambiance, like. And a lot of times too, when like house music and stuff's being played, the clubs like are pretty nice too. So I kind of like that. Yeah,
for me, it has to be like EDM house music. I can't do the extreme lights going crazy. Like I can't. That's too much for me.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's too much. Because one of our other friends, he was like, "Would you ever?" Because he knows I don't like that. He was like, "Would you ever go to like an EDM concert with me?" I was like, "Kind of depends." Yeah. And he was like, "What if it's just like house music, like EDM?" And I was like, well, what is that? Because what I think of like house music is something a little like it's called lo-fi. So I kind of think lo-fi is like house. So that's what I refer to it as, not house music. Yeah. And I was like, well, what is house music to you? Then he played it. It was like Odessa and then some other people. And I was like, oh, I mean, yeah, I could do that.
Yeah, I mean, house music is general. I mean, you have like an overall umbrella of house music, and then there's like a shit ton of little like subcategories.
Like rap. Because like
to an extent,
well, I'm saying because there's rap, but there's just so many subgenres of rap.
Yeah, but you got like house, you got minimal house, tech house, like techno, and like a whole bunch of different stuff. Like I don't know, it's crazy. But I only asked that because I got into DJing like a few months ago. I've always kind of been into it. My brother, he's been a producer for as long as I can remember, but he's a producer in Atlanta. My best friend who's out in New York is DJ too, and he kind of got me into it. And when I moved back to Austin, all my DJ friends are here, and those are kind of all the guys I was hanging out with, and so I kind of got into a little bit and thought, I'll kind of try that out. So that's kind of
fun.
That's a side quest.
That's dope.
It's a side quest. That's a side
dope.
quest.
How's that been?
It's fun, man. I think music connects people. I think music connects people on all levels, and being behind the deck, I'm thinking of that right now with this little sliders, but being behind the deck, you're playing your good music, you're like, damn, this shit, like, this is fire. And then you look up and everyone's like having fun, it's like it's an all encompassing moment, and you just love it. So, yeah.
How does it make you feel when you see the dance floor and everybody just has like good energy I don't know if you ever performed as a DJ.
I have on open deck, so I haven't had like my own, like full set. Like, hey, you're gonna come see Kyce play, and I'm playing for like a few
for
hours.
like 2 hours.
Yeah,
or
I'm just like I'm like coming in and like showing my talent or not talent, whatever they think, and just kind of just doing.
Is it? Do you typically go to like I guess like what are the spots you hit in Austin? Are you just like chill spots or like kind of bigger venues, like bigger bars? I guess
there's been. I mean, they're kind of like mid-size. You got Higher Ground on Congress.
Yeah,
y'all know that one.
yeah,
That was
yeah.
really cool. Great management there.
Yeah.
And all the guys there are super cool. We got that. The oven's really cool.
Where's that at?
It's close to here.
Okay.
It might be like 5-10 minutes from here.
Okay.
That Volstead's really cool on the east side.
Yeah, I've heard about that
There's
place.
a spot on the west side too near Cauldron. They're really cool.
Yeah,
too.
that's so do you know Matt Worthington?
Yeah.
Owner of Riser.
Yeah.
So that's like a good friend of ours, and they throw like events there or whatever. Like every Wednesday, it's the
you're right.
turntable to tequila.
They do.
Yeah. So no, that's cool that you got into that, and that's also another way to meet people. I mean, obviously, like when you go out and stuff, there's people out, and you can meet people through that and DJ and kind of like show your creativity, your artistry, side. Because even for us, like we were talking about like cameras and stuff and editing, like it's cool to like talk to him about ideas and stuff. Because I don't know, like the semblance of like a team, like a team aspect of like what you're trying to create or whatever. It's been cool to like kind of work with others, and this kind of brings me back to my point of how you were talking about like kind of becoming like a lone wolf, and now you're like starting to branch out and like work with others and whatnot. So I guess how's that been for you, like just meeting people, and like how do you go about like networking and all that stuff?
It's been awesome. I think networking is a lot about knowing what you want, but I think it's also about being strategic in it. Just like what you were saying about with the YouTube stuff. It's like my friend was asking me a couple of days ago. He just moved to Austin. He was like, "How do I meet like these girls and all this different stuff?" And I was like, "Look, bro, you gotta be strategic with it. It's like figure out where the girls are, and you need to go to those spots at the right time." And people are like, "Oh, that's too much stuff." But it's the same thing with networking. Like, hey, if I know a lot of these high level guys are at Soho House, I'm gonna try and get a Soho House membership. I'm gonna network with somebody who knows people at Soho House, so I can be at Soho House. I think networking is less of a like full like outbound like email type stuff. I think it's less of that. I think it's more of being prepared for the right moment when it comes, because networking can come whenever it you could come at Walmart
literally,
but if you're not prepared for it and able to see it and work on yourself to be able to portray yourself as the right person that person wants to talk to, then that's ultimately it.
Yeah, because one of the guys we had on, one of his good friends, Jag, he was working out, and I guess
Jim's a good one too.
What was it, like one of the people at Merrill Lynch or?
Oh yeah, at Lifetime. He one of the Merrill Lynch. I think it was like the manager of that whatever one, or financial manager or whatever.
Yeah, I think he just asked him if he could like help him like spot him or something. And then and he was already going to school for that. Like the guy didn't know that, and he didn't know who he was. And then they just started talking and asked him. And then from there, because apparently I guess it's really hard to get into like that. Is it Merrill Lynch or bank? I don't.
It's like so there's like Bank of America and like other banks, and then Merrill Lynch is like a Goldman Sachs. It's like the main bank, and the other ones are just like branched off.
And it's hard to get into Merrill Lynch.
Yeah,
right?
because when we set up the bank account, like what was his name? What was the old boy's name that helped us? Clyde, yeah, Clyde. He was like a Merrill Lynch financial like advisor. Yeah,
gotcha.
So
and then he gets it's like really hard to get into that. And then the guy was like, "I'm gonna make a phone call. I'm just gonna set you up an interview. Since I'm making a phone call, you're pretty much gonna get it." But I mean, just he was at the gym and he was like, "Hey, can you spot me?" And then there it was.
You never know who you're gonna meet, man, and that's why I try to preach the the self-improvement thing. Just always be improving. In sales, I've been in sales for quite a while now, and we always say, assume the sale. Assume you're going to meet that person today. Wake up and say, I'm going to get this today. So then you're prepared. I think when you speak stuff out into the world, I'm going to do this. This is going to happen. It naturally comes to you, but it's not some kind of hoorah thing. It's like saying that makes you do something. The subconscious mind. Yeah, exactly. You have to speak into fruition, and our minds are much more powerful than I think people think.
Yeah, because that's how we were when we first started. We're like, if we get this, if we get that, whenever this comes, and now it's just like, when we get a studio, when we get that guest, when we meet these people, when we're at these places. It's we stopped saying if. Probably like right after either during the first year or right after the first year.
Yeah, because it was just like, I mean, like you said, you got to speak everything into existence because you also got to have that overwhelming confidence. Like even for us, like the amount of amazing guests we've shot just in the apartment, we're like, oh, when we get a studio, like it's going to go even more crazy.
With.
You know what I mean?
It's over with. So, and I'm excited to see it.
Yeah. And just meeting people like you and like helping people out too. Because that's another thing. Like we know, like just talking about the cameras and stuff, for instance, like a lot of people just do not know, right? Like, and it, like you could go get something, you could go see a camera line, like, damn, that's like $3,000, right? Or you can get something way like comparable for under $1,000 and still do what you need to do for what you're trying to shoot. Because we've had David on from Ariel Austin. He's like a big time videographer in the city.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, he does like a lot of those drone videos of the city and stuff.
He's good.
Yeah,
bro,
he's
cold.
He's good.
He's dope.
Yeah, and we've had him on, and he was just telling us like, look, there's all kind of products for whatever you're trying to do. Like, you don't need to get a crazy red or Blackmagic camera if you're just trying to do podcasts. Like, you can get something that shoots 1080, maybe 4K if you're trying to vlog, and kind of go about that. And that was something we had to learn too. Like, even us starting this 4.5 years ago, like learning what is what, like eventually, finding the mics, finding the interface, learning about lighting, learning about cameras. And it's cool to like, you meet someone over time, like CJ who walked in, he has his own media company called Park Car Talks with it's like underneath Opinionated Media.
I was going to say, I thought that was you guys. But
Yeah. Well, it is, but like, it's like his thing.
Yeah.
But it's just like, it's like an umbrella type of,
Okay.
So, but even like for him, like he had to like learn a bunch of stuff, but since we had already known a lot of stuff, it was a lot easier to help him out instead of having him go through the growing pains. And I think that's a lot of people giving back to us, like guests coming on or people helping us out with the content or just the networking we made. So we feel like it's just the due diligence just to help people out, and it just kind of, pays away, because there's a lot of people, they got to the top, but it's like they didn't just get there on their own, right?
Right.
So that's a big deal.
I feel like that's why a lot of people at the top are the ones most likely to actually give back. It's funny. People on their way up don't want to give any advice. They want to help, but you find that the people who have already made it, they're successful. They're the ones that want to share all the knowledge and all the wisdom.
They give you a lot of game. I feel like doing this more, meeting people more, networking more, talking to the higher level people that we've had on. A lot of people are willing to give game. But not everybody's willing to listen or care enough to listen. But a lot of people who are somewhat successful, they give game without, they won't even ask you for anything. They'll just do it. And just, I feel like people who are successful and are around other successful people and they are making it, now are more willing to give game.
Yeah, it's funny. So remember I told you the guy who first gave me a book. It's what he's like, every time I meet with somebody, I give them a book, and I just kind of took that. But that book that I received was called The Go Giver. And basically what the whole premise of this book was that, people think of a business, I'm going to start a business, okay? Yes, we're going to make some money, but I'm going to take money. I'm going to sell this coffee, and I'm going to take money from somebody. But what this whole book was about, it's called The Go Giver. I'm not sure the author, but maybe you could pull it up.
Yeah.
But it was all about giving, right? And it's like you'd shift your mindset to giving, and you will receive. But too many of us think of taking. I'm going to start a business. Like I said, I'm going to take money. I'm going to do this and try to increase prices so I can just take as much as I can from this person's pocket. But it's like when you reframe that, and you truly want to work to serve people and give, you're going to receive those riches back that you wanted anyway, and you're just going to get it in a better fashion. Yeah,
it's kind of how it's been for us, because for the longest, it wasn't. Like I said, we've been doing this for 4 or 5 years now, but it wasn't until
2 years ago.
No, it wasn't until last week we had our first merch drop, and before that, that's all we do was give. We'll make shirts, we'll make hoodies, whatever. Stickers, whatever we have extra of, and we like the person, thought it was a dope guest. Hey, here's this. Hey, here's that. Here's a hat. Here's a whatever.
Yeah.
That's just always how we've been. And then now it's just like we've had our first merch drop, and for us, I felt like it did well.
Definitely,
and,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And I think it's the universe just giving back.
That's awesome, man.
And
I'd love to hear that.
Yeah, and it's cool, man. Like, that's really why we want to get a studio, because like we've been here for 3 years shooting content out of here, and it's like kind of time for us to like, you know, just spread our wings and go our separate ways.
Yeah.
But at the same time, whenever we make the studio, not only will it be a place for us to shoot content, but people like you or whoever that needs content shot or helped with stuff, we want it to be like an open door policy. Like, especially if you're like someone we fuck with, like, just pull up, hit us up, like we'll get something going, and like, you know, just give people opportunity to do something great. Because I feel like a lot of the times that's all people need is just that push, right? Like they might be like, oh, like, well, dang, I can't like invest in all this, but you know, you offer whatever at like a certain price, and it's like, oh, I could probably swing that. Like, let me go there and shoot some content or whatever. So content's also currency too. Like, I don't really think about it all the time, but a lot of these episodes, every time we shoot an episode, it's like when we're older, like when we're 50, 60, whatever. Yeah. You can go back and look at all this and just like binge all our old episodes, and it's gonna be crazy. Like, it's gonna be like, damn, like one day I was watching like a video we did, like a little challenge video, like we did like 3 years ago, and we looked so young, and I was like, damn, bro, like this is crazy to like watch this now and see like what we've done since then. And even like 10 years, 5 years from what we're like this conversation, going back and watching it and stuff, and even for you, you're gonna be like, damn, like I was in this spot.
Right.
Now, when you said it off camera, you're like, last year I was in this spot, and then you just came up with my memories. Like a year ago, I was there.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. I love the idea of documenting, whether it be podcasts or, you know, just walking around with your phone. And I think people think it's weird nowadays. You know, one thing that I love is my dad always had a camera in my face when I was young, and so only up until about 4 or 5 years ago, what was it 20 or 17 years old, something like that. You know, I'm late teens, and he's showing me all these videos of me with my mom, who I don't see anymore, and you know, I'm young and doing all this different stuff in England that I would have never saw before, or you know, even barely had a recollection of. And so it's great to be able to document that, just like what you said. You know, it's like later down the line, you're gonna see this stuff and be like, holy shit, you know, this is what I was doing. And so I love that.
Yeah, we had Matt Choi on. I don't know if you've seen him, but he's pretty big around Austin. He does like a bunch of running content.
Oh, I did see
like
that.
Runs a bunch of marathons and stuff like that. Yeah, and I mean, he has a saying, document, don't create. Like, just document what you're doing. And he literally, that's what he did during COVID, like documented everything he was doing, blew up for him, and his life's changed. And it's cool to see, like, we would never thought someone would be that big of an influence for just running. Like, he just runs marathons, like long distance running, and like he's building up a whole community. Like every time he posts, I go to his comments and someone's like, oh, like you inspired me to start running. And it's cool to just kind of see like people inspired by something you're just doing because you love it, you know? Yeah. I think that's awesome.
And that only came about like 10 years ago with social media, you know? I think I wrote a bunch of notes down here. First one is social media. I saw you guys had
go for it.
Y'all had a really great video about that. But you know, go back 10 years, you know, that's not a thing, you know, reaching thousands, hundreds of thousands of people and getting all this support and building your life and building up such a following. You know, that's only available now because of all these resources that we have and all the connectivity we have with this, you know. So I think that's crazy. Y'all's relationship with social media, and we don't have to talk about it too long, but I kind of want to know
do your thing.
I want to know y'all's insight on where y'all stand with social media, because obviously, you know, you said, you know, content is, what was it?
Content is king.
Content is king and currency.
Content is currency. I love that. Yeah. But with all the content that we're getting now, like with social media, no matter what the platform, like what's your guys' perspective on that, on social media as a whole?
For me, it's a little bit, because I'm not the social media guy. Like, but I've always been like that. I've always been the type to like, I don't really take pictures because I don't like pictures. I've never been the type to like always put all my stuff on social media or like show what I was doing, all this. And I've always been like that, even right when social media came out and like till now. I've just always been like that. But I do think it's very important for what we're doing, and if you're trying to do it, just because the guy we had, I don't know if it was the last guy, but he has a cricket company. His name's Eli. And
he's
the Golden
funny
Cricket.
as shit.
Yeah, he's crazy.
That guy is funny.
But he was like, I don't remember how he said it along the lines, but he was like, he was speaking in comedy terms, but it kind of works in like this kind of terms as well. He was like, stand up can only get you so far because it's a numbers game. You're only talking to a group of people that are in the room at that time versus here you're talking to a mass people. And that's the good thing about content is it reaches Austin, it reaches New York, it reaches Brazil, it reaches England, it reaches Canada. Like it reaches all these other countries that you can't reach when you're just in a room doing that. Right. So I think content is, I think social media is very important for what you're doing. It also gives you gives your fans also kind of more of a personable, personable. I don't know how I would say it, but you're just more personable with them. Yeah. Because there's a group, because I'm a gamer, and I talk about them all the time. I'm sure you've heard me talk about them, but they're called Optic Gaming. And the reason, do you know FaZe Clan? Yeah. So they're like FaZe Clan. They're like FaZe Clan's rival. Okay. But they're called Optic. And
Optic. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you're. Okay. Yeah.
But the reason I think they have such a big fan base, and I think the reason FaZe was so big at the beginning was because like all the stuff that they did content wise and always put on social media, and they're just so personable, and like people related to that and got to see that, and that's why I think they became so big. So I think that's why social media is big and is necessary, is because your fans can actually interact with you more and see. It could be behind the scenes footage. It could be you just getting more personable at a coffee shop, talking to them one-on-one or whatnot, doing live videos, stuff like that. That's why I think it's important, very important.
Yeah. To answer that for me, I think it's just super key with, obviously, like you said, trying to grow a business, trying to, put content out. Networking too, like the amount of people, like meeting other guests we've had on, just through the phone, right? Just a DM goes a long way. I feel like if you meet somebody online and you kind of see like that they're doing something similar, or maybe someone you're interested in, just hit them up. A lot of the times people are going to be very friendly. They're going to respond, and then, especially if you're doing something dope yourself, they're going to be wanting to learn about that, hear about it. Also too, just the relatability aspect. Like, I think it's a good way for you to connect with people, especially like for us, like we went to school out of state, right? I'm pretty sure you met a lot of people at your college, and I met a lot of people at my college that I like to just keep up with. Can't talk to them all the time, or I'm not going to probably text them all the time, but at least seeing people like, oh, you had a kid, or oh, you're getting married, or oh, you're going on this cool trip. I just think it's a good way to keep up with people. And I think it needs to be, I think there's been kind of a switch of how it's going now. Because I think there was a time, like probably like the last 3 or 4 years, to where it was like, I got to post the best picture, I got to post the best life experience, all these highlights and stuff. But I think as we're getting older, and like kind of like our generation is the first generation to really come up with social media. Right. So I think like as we're getting older, like especially for us, like we're getting closer to 30, people are going to start getting married, start having kids, and then also too, life's going to slow down. Like you're not going to be as young anymore. You're not going to be willing to obviously like party all the time, whatever. And instead of like that's the content you're seeing, I think you're going to start seeing more like relatable stuff, like just family oriented stuff, or people you follow that are business owners and entrepreneurs. And what I did too the last couple of years is I did like a lot of social media cleaning on my end. Like I unfollowed a bunch of like girls and stuff that didn't really need to see, or like a bunch of celebrities that like I love like celebrities and stuff like that, but I think if they weren't really like a super high point of influence for me, or if it's like not an athlete of a team I like or whatever, then at some point I was like, I can always look this person up and look at their content. But for me, I need to just like either follow people I know personally, or someone that I look up to, or someone that I like connected with because of Opinionated or whatever. So just trying to like get more focused on that. And then, just it's cool. Like it's entertaining. Like Twitter, like
Twitter is so funny.
The
bro.
news, bro. I've been
like,
sending him like stuff all day. The alien stuff with Mexico.
What was that?
Alien stuff in Mexico. Did you see that today?
No, I didn't see
that. So apparently,
I love this though. I love aliens.
Yeah. So apparently, they found them in Peru. I guess I don't know how Mexico got hold of them. They found them in Peru, but Mexicans got these mummified aliens. And they're like thousand-year-old aliens. Oh, yeah. And they like came out today and showed them like this is what they look like and all this and that. Like it was the first time we see an alien body like on video, picture, real life, stuff like that. But just the memes that people made about them today, because like I said, I'm a gamer. And when I don't know how much you game, but when we're playing like Call of Duty, Warzone, stuff like that, like if you lose, like, oh, one more game, and then it's always that one more game. And then I sent him to one today, and it was a picture of the alien's face. He's all mummified, and it says, "One more game, bro." On top of it.
I'm so surprised I haven't seen that.
No,
bro.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
I asked him if he thought it was real or not. I don't.
It's crazy, but that scares me. That scares me because I'm super big into aliens. People call me crazy. I'm big into ancient Egyptology. I think that, I think there's some technology around the, I did see, okay. But, you see that I don't know about.
But they're that big because it's like.
All right.
But that's the size of them.
This has happened before, though. We go down to Roswell, 1947, I think it was Roswell. I'm not exactly sure where Roswell is, but
New Mexico. I've driven through there a lot coming back from college.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Roswell. We had nearly 100 years, 80, 90 years ago, we had a flight or a spacecraft crash. And people, that's crazy. I don't know. That looks like Yoda, man. But yeah, we had this thing crash, and everybody saw it, and everybody, the government's covering it up, and they saw bodies getting removed from it, and all this crazy shit happening. And I think they've tried to keep it hidden for so long. And the fact that it's coming out now honestly scares me because I don't know what's going to happen. There's this conspiracy called Project Bluebeam where they're going to, about Project Bluebeam, where they're going to shoot up the holograms and, have the, stuff saying stuff in your ear and different things like that. They have that technology. The technology we have is crazy.
My girlfriend doesn't believe in that stuff. She thinks I'm crazy.
Huh? Just
conspiracy theories.
Oh, I'm a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm a big conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, I'm not I guess I'm not a conspiracist, but I know a lot of conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
And I read up on a lot of conspiracy theories. I'm with you on the aliens. This is one of the ones his girlfriend doesn't believe, but I believe the aliens built the pyramids.
Same.
It's just there's no way,
bro. No way.
I got them tatted all on my leg. I love the pyramids, man. I think. There's no way, true human beings.
Because if you think about it, the amount of people that it would take to build one of them, let alone three, when they have one that's made out of clay or something, or something or stone that's limestone, but there's no water access to there's no way. It's just
the nearest water is
it's the Amazon, I think, or something like that.
It's a ways away.
Yeah. And
people were saying that they use a ramp to get first of all, they're marble slabs weighing tons and tons and tons each. And we're talking about 4,500 years ago when they didn't have any sort of technology.
And to be able to be cut that good.
And they're perfect. The angles are perfect.
They're cut to precision. They're cut to precision. You got beams in the middle of them, super intricate, super precise. They're the most, geographically accurate, what would you call it, structures on Earth. They're aligned directly to true north, true north, directly on it. They align with the constellations, they're placed so perfectly and constructed so perfectly. I think that the ancient Egyptians who were living at that time had access to some kind of extraterrestrial consciousness, or maybe they were that, and they used that and harnessed that energy to build the pyramids.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm a big geek about this stuff.
No, this is dope.
Personally, I think that they were constructed on the basis of frequency and vibration. So everything that's living, or everything on Earth, has a vibration, right? It has a frequency. Even this table, it's not moving, nothing's hitting it. Of course, you're gonna, there's a vibration there, but right now everything's vibrating, everything. And there's a point where, there's actually a story about it, but I'll get into that later. There's a point where gravity can almost be defied with frequency and vibration, right? So there's a story of these guys. It was ancient Egypt, and you had somebody at the top of this mountain. There was a marble slab at the bottom. I forget the exact story. I'll have to tell you later. But they had a lot of guys, beating on drums at a certain cadence that created this certain frequency. And call me crazy, but this granite slab started levitating and moving up. this is what Tesla was talking about. This is what Tesla was getting into when he was starting to find free energy. You know, we don't need plugins. We don't need this different stuff. The universe has energy and a frequency and a vibration and energy from it that we can harness. But every time somebody's tried to harness that, they get killed or something like that. You know,
speaking of Tesla, I read something the other day. He died with like pennies in the bank.
Yeah.
Like literally he had like 2 cents to his name or something. And you think of who he is, just like there's no reason that man should be.
You want to know something crazy? Towards the end of Tesla's life, he was working on a saucer, like a spacecraft or a craft that was telepathic. You controlled it with your mind. Now, before he died, he gave it to some guy that he met. Like, he became good friends with somebody before he passed away, and he gave all of his documents and his whole, all his records to this one guy. Tesla died. This guy got his house raided. He was killed. Guess who was the person that came in and took all of those documents from that recording?
I could be wrong.
You might be right.
Isn't it? It doesn't have to do with Donald Trump's dad or something?
Donald Trump's uncle.
Uncle, yeah.
Donald Trump's uncle. So he's the one that has all of that documentation from apparently some craft that you could control with your mind.
Yeah. He has like they have like a lot of Tesla's inventions and books and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
That's nuts. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff they're still holding back, though. I mean,
for sure.
I mean, oil could be eliminated, gas could be eliminated.
There's a lot of stuff.
There was a guy who started a car, or he developed a car that ran on water. This was years ago. They killed him. They killed him. He went to a Wendy's with his brother, and his food was poison. And before he died, he said, "They poisoned me." Sure enough, they did.
That's
crazy.
they
don't want anything that would ruin their monetary system. You take out oil. There's a lot of billionaires that, well, they're still going to be billionaires, but they're not going to keep having that money.
But there's going to be a lot of like the Saudis, like they're just.
Oh yeah,
that's like the biggest thing. Like they'll just go down.
Yeah, bro. We think the U.S. Our billionaires. What Elon Musk, like 300 billion. Those
like
guys in Saudi are off the grid, and they have a lot more than. $500
that's
billion.
Not reported. That is
there's some sheiks over there that are like trillionaires. Easy.
Yeah. I mean, you just go to Dubai and it's just every person you probably wouldn't even think like he has way more money than you think.
Yeah. It's outrageous money out there.
One of the other ones I think about is the harp ray.
What was it called?
The harp ray.
I don't know about that one.
So it's basically a grid that was built in Alaska. They shut the Alaska one down. I'm sure there's one somewhere else. But it's a grid that's built in Alaska that can control the weather.
Oh, yeah. Oh, easily. I think they're controlling the weather right now.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Bill Gates has openly said it. Weather geoengineering. He's trying to, block the sun because the Earth is heating up.
So the reason they made it was for a weather war. That's why they initially made it, was to prove that they can because for me, nature's always going to win. Nature will always win, no matter what. To me, a volcano, tsunami, hurricane, tornado,
Nature.
Mother Nature's always going to win.
Yeah.
So for you to make something where Mother Nature, you can just cause an earthquake wherever you want, like that. I think was the. There's a race for a weather war, is what it was.
You just said something about causing an earthquake. I think it was back in 2012. There was a big earthquake in, I think it was New Mexico. In Antarctica, people don't believe this, but there's said to be a big base that's already built out there, right? And there's something that they have they call a neuron detector or something like that. You have the atoms and you have really something even smaller, right? And it's you need this crazy huge machine. It's underground under the ice, and it's this huge dome filled with a bunch of things the size of a basketball. And they say at the face value they say it's supposed to just detect these neurons that are in space and different shit like that. But this guy just recently came out who was working for that company who had access to everything. He's a whistleblower. He said that machine had the capability to, shoot lasers out into space and, quote unquote, what he said, communicate with extraterrestrial life. And 2, he said it caused, on accident, a big earthquake in New Mexico in 2012. So if we have technology that is in Antarctica, way the hell wherever, causing earthquakes on the other side of the planet. I mean, what other type of technologies do we have?
Yeah, there's some stuff in Antarctica because like only civilians can only go so far.
Yeah.
In Antarctica before you get shot. Really, I can't remember what Deception Island is what it's called.
Haven't seen that.
Yeah, Deception Islands where like, I guess you can't go, and there's a lot of people who try to go there, but obviously. You can't. But yeah, no, there's another one in Florida. I mean, there's no tectonic plates around Florida, but Florida had an earthquake. It's like, are we having an earthquake?
How does that happen? That's a little...
Yeah. No, I believe the moon won. Like, I don't know.
You don't think we went to the moon?
Not in 69.
Really?
I believe we went, but not in 69. They're just... After they did it, they destroyed all the records of how they built the spaceship to save storage.
Yeah,
like that's something that you don't do because it's like you're gonna want to keep
that's for the history books. Yeah,
and but like you just destroy it just to save space. Like no, and I think we just wanted to say we're the first ones to go just because there was a race to the moon, and then before not too long ago we were the only ones to go to the moon.
Yeah,
like it just doesn't.
You know, I'm on the fence about that because I am a conspiracy theorist. I'm a conspiracy guy. I always discern all the information, though. I'm not just gonna go believe like all this craziness. But I think there's one part of it where it's like, okay, we actually did have about 300,000 plus engineers working on this whole project at the same time. You know, to do this big thing for America. So it's like, okay, we have 300,000 guys in the same place and working on this shit together, and it's all documented. But then you have the other side of that where it's CGI and it's proven that, you know, a lot of these videos or pictures are actually pictures of people on Earth in training sessions and they just black out the background, flip the guy upside down and say he's in space. Yeah. That's been proven. You know, I think it's been on Joe Rogan like multiple different times. You know, this guy says like, hey, I was on Earth in this picture, and they literally just blacked out the background, flipped it upside down. Yeah.
A lot of the pictures on NASA are Photoshop.
Complete CGI. Bro, you think the pictures of Venus, Saturn, all that shit is real? Hell no.
No, and to be that bright.
Yeah.
No shot. They were riding go-karts on the moon and jumping around. It's like, but literally they say if you like get a tear in your suit, you're just gonna blow up. Like, why would you even be riding on a go-kart and jumping around if like that was a possibility?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It just don't make sense.
I don't know, man. Going down that, like you said earlier, it's kind of like a rabbit hole.
It's a rabbit hole for sure.
It's a rabbit hole that's crazy to go down. You know, my old barber was a flat earther and like full on 120% like flat earther. And I almost started thinking it for a second. But then I was like, no, like I don't think that one's valid, you know? I mean, it's easy to look at the moon and see it's a circle.
Yeah. There's some people who think the moon's fake.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what is reality? That's what this thing takes you down.
It's like, what the hell is this?
Let me show.
No doubt. Well, because the guy who taught me about told me about all my conspiracies, he's, I can't remember if he's a flat earther or not, but he does think that the moon is fake.
Like the actual moon is fake?
Yeah. I can't remember his reasoning. It has something to do with like because you could see the moon during the day, and the reason you could see during the day, I can't remember exactly what he says, but the reason you could see during the day doesn't correlate to like why you can like I can't remember. I have to ask him again, and then I'll get back to you. But
there's something. Flat earthers thing. It's like, why can I see the sun and the moon in the same frame when they're supposed to be? You know? Yeah,
there's something with seeing the moon during the day. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, I mean, I go on about this. You said you had some notes, and I don't know if you had any other.
I got a bunch of stuff, man. I just got a lot of notes to that we could get through and talk about. I guess we were kind of on that same topic. I put Bill Gates and weather geoengineering here. And
also the meat that he just released.
The meat.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, dude. You see, this is what I'm talking about. I think the government and like the not higher ups, but I think there's a collective group. You know, now it's widely known as the Matrix because of one person. I'm not going to say the name, but that consists of like this broad network of people who don't who are basically in charge of everything. You know, we think it's government, but I think there's like another, you know, network of people who are really, really powerful that, you know, kind of control everything. You know, it's like the puppet thing where you're like up here doing this and then everybody's moving below. I think that's exactly what we are. And I think that a lot of stuff happening nowadays, like what Bill Gates is doing. I mean, we have this, you know, fantastic, you know, successful business person who is now like the owner of the weather and like telling us where our future is going to be. I think there's something to be said there. And with money comes power. You know, same thing like with Elon Musk. Like, what is he doing with X? Why is it called X? You know, different things like that. And I think that like now we're in a point where it's like we're in a battle between, I say faith, because I think all that stuff is evil. You know, I think there's a lot of stuff going on that doesn't need to be going on, and a lot of stuff that was talked about in the Bible that we're living in right now in the last days. And, you know, there's just a lot of stuff that, you know, people don't necessarily see because, you know, the news and everything. And I think they're being pushed something that is contrary to what's actually going on.
I feel like religion has gone away a lot.
100%.
I would say especially in America, because if I don't know how much of like the UK, but like just like the Middle East, like Muslim was always going to rule. Like that's never going to go away.
I've heard
that's the most respected religion as well.
I have a good. I'm actually reading a book right now called American Islam. I have a lot of friends who are Muslim, and I've never seen them stray away from what they believe.
Yeah.
I feel like Christianity is whatever you want it to be. You know, I feel like people say they're Christian and just do a lot of stuff that's just completely contrary to what the word says.
Contradict all the time.
Yeah, and me too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Same. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm faithful. You know, I strictly and firmly believe in God, and I pray, and I believe in my faith. And of course, I cuss, I drink alcohol. You know, I do all this different stuff. But I think that Christianity is just, it's a joke to a lot of people now. I mean, people are just, they're mocking God in music videos, in music in general, on the news, you know, and all these different, you know, different things that's going on. It's like, what are we doing here? This is why I think, you know, I've actually thought this pretty recently. I think it's time. I think Jesus is coming soon, you know. And people call me crazy, like, oh, whatever, but you know, when you mock God in the streets and nobody's saying anything, it's like, you know.
Yeah, we need it for sure because I mean, like Muslim, they're just so hardcore, and that's why they don't do anything. Like that's why they stick to religion, and they don't smoke, they don't drink, they pray. Was it twice a day or something like that? Yeah, and then they do the fasting, and they have their prayer time at like 7 p.m.
They got to make their trip to the what's it called? Mosque? I always forget. It's a city in Saudi Arabia. It's like the one journey that every Muslim person has to do.
The big old tower
once in their life. It's like a big square. Yeah.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
Oh man, it's not
I'm about to look it up.
I know.
And you're talking about where they walk around it?
Yeah, they walk around it. They also, that's where a lot of people pray. At it as well.
What's it called?
Hajj.
Yeah. Hajj. It's in you got to go there at least once in your lifetime if you're Muslim.
Yeah. They're so strict, and I respect that like, to the highest extent.
But it's funny because earlier you said that music brings people together, but man, because we mainly listen to rap. I feel like he has more of a variety than I do. But like we grew up on rap and like listen to rap a lot, but more than just rap, I believe that there's so much evil behind just music and making it in music.
Well, just the entertainment industry too, like
entertainment, the
movies, even TV. Like that's literally why it's called programming, like paid programming. Like you're watching stuff, believing certain stuff. There's certain narratives, even like with the news. Like you have Fox News, which is more like leans towards the right. Then you have like CNN, which is more like towards the left.
It's
and there's
all
like
divisive.
it's all divisive. There's no like real like middle ground, and that's why like I try to tell people like, hey, like there's so much information out there. Like I feel like just do the research and figure out what you want to believe, because if you like get all your information from this one source, then of course you're gonna think like that because that's all you see,
right?
You know.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, people speak from experience, and so whatever they see is going to ultimately become their experience. And so it's like you really have to curate your environment. Even like you just said, you know, deleting the girls, deleting the, you know, you want to curate your Instagram or your social media, your phone to be what you want it to be, you know, and that's part of that experience.
And they kind of want to control you to an extent too, because they like
Not to an extent. They really want to control.
The algorithms
bad.
will just they say, because TikTok's probably the worst with it.
That's why I stay off that.
But you like one girl that's in a bikini, you're flooded with it the next time you get on TikTok,
and that's like the next 7.
And then how Eli, the quick guy, was saying like, hit the one where he spoke about that he was like gay on his big joke, and it had 1.2 million, and like
he's right.
And none of that, like nothing before that, like was that big. Yeah, it was like, I think the government just like pushes out the gay.
Yeah, I mean, shout out Eli. He was completely right. I started laughing. I think I was watching it this morning, actually. He said, what do you say? The algorithm was trying to turn everybody gay. Yeah. I think it's true. I mean, it's completely true. It's all directed in a specific way. I mean, y'all have seen that, I'm sure, on Instagram or whatever it was, where it's like you have the news, like one guy saying something and the next person saying the same thing. All of the networks are directed to say the exact same stuff. Yeah, they're all saying the same stuff. It's all just like that's why I don't watch the news, man. It's a facade. It's like it's fake stuff.
I don't watch the news, and I'm personally not that political. I try
to stay out of politics.
Me too.
Well,
it's divisive.
It's bad. People say it's bad. I don't know. I do it because my parents want me to, and then all my friends want me to, but I typically don't vote just because. Okay. I mean, I don't know. I don't ever believe what the person that's running is gonna do what they said they're gonna do. That's my thing. That's why I don't, and I'm just like, all right, whatever. But it's also hard because you have the argument. It's like, well, they can't always do that because, for the president example, was it the House? The House can have more Republicans than it has Democrats. The Republicans don't want you in office, so they're not going to pass the bills. Right. So it is hard because there's stuff like that does play a factor as well.
Yeah, I think you're definitely right to an extent. I think, the president really doesn't matter. I think one exception would be Donald Trump. I think, to an extent, he was probably controlled, or there's something happening there. But I think that he was just one person. Again, I don't want to go too politicky because I don't like digging deep into this stuff. But I think that he was one that really, was pushing for truth and for going against censorship and really like exposing the deep state and kind of what's really going on. But again, that could be something that was put in front of us for a reason too. We don't know. You have to be skeptical of that. That's why I always talk about kind of sitting back for a minute and just kind of just
especially because like he was one of the few presidents that were like super active on social media, and just doing like the stuff he's done and like being like accused of and stuff.
He goes against the grain.
It's like, damn, bro, yeah. Like this man was doing all this. It's crazy. He goes
against the grain.
It's crazy. So
it might not always be the correct way, but like, I mean, he stays true to himself. He goes against the grain. Yeah. And I don't care for the presidency. I mean, I thought having him as a president was like kind of like it was like joke for like America,
a meme, almost
like a slap in the face.
Yes, for America, like for all the other countries to look at us like, wow, Donald Trump just president.
Yeah, I can see that.
Just because it's like he's not a political guy. He was always like
never came up in politics.
Yeah, it was always like just a numbers guy. Always made money. A business guy. He was a business guy. And then for him to just,
but I think that
president is like, what the hell?
I think that businessman mentality and that kind of cutthroat mentality was what made him, I don't want to say successful, but what made the United States the way it was in that era.
He definitely helped the economy a lot.
Absolutely.
That was one thing he did do.
Yeah. I think he brought power back to the United States. I think that a lot of countries were not necessarily scared, but they were approhensive to do anything because they knew that Donald Trump was going to do it. And that's scary to some people.
Fuck around, find out. That's what he said.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's what he said. And then, he said it after when the whole Russia thing went off. He said I had Putin like a puppet.
Yeah,
that's what he said.
No, for sure.
And he was like, now he's running around like a madman.
No,
yeah.
I mean,
that's true. But ultimately, this whole thing, people think it's government. Of course, the government's not here to help you, but going deeper than the government, people don't know about these big money conglomerates like BlackRock, or it's actually only three: BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard. They say wealth management. That's what they are, but they own everything. I mean, they own like nearly 80% of all the Fortune 500 companies in the United States. Like they own everything. They've been buying up houses like crazy. So they own Zillow. Collectively, they own Zillow. And they've been buying property. And apparently Zillow's algorithm screwed up and bought like $8 billion worth of real estate recently.
Jesus Christ.
And they've said it openly. By 2030, they want to own 60% of single-family residential properties in the United States. How would you feel when your rent and your property is owned by the biggest money conglomerates in the United States that control pretty much everything.
Crazy.
That's
where because I've never heard of those companies, but I know Disney is like a big monopoly company. So like, where do they rank in that? Do they own any of Disney, or is Disney still like their own thing? Because Disney owns a lot.
I can promise you, BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard own a very big chunk of Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna look that up.
Go for it. Yeah, because I just know Disney owns a lot. That's the thing. Like
Disney definitely does. There's a lot of big monopolies out there.
And they're like the biggest.
I'd say like monopoly. Probably like entertainment, like, and also just when you hear of Disney, you're just like that damn Disney. Like everyone knows what Disney is. Everybody, So it's like you grew up on it. I mean, you've watched Disney movies. I mean, now even like if you grew up on Star Wars or Marvel, like I did, it's the same type of deal. Like it's like damn, they own that now. It's insane. ESPN.
So BlackRock alone owns 7%
of Disney,
which they might be the biggest shareholder because that's a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot. Almost 10%.
Vanguard owns 7.5%. So combined, that's 14 right there. Add State Street, they probably own a good amount. So that's what I mean by it. They don't own the whole conglomerate. They don't own the whole company. They just have a really big stake in it.
Yeah, it says State Street owns about 4% of Disney.
What did I say? 14%. So
that's like 14.5%, 18.5%.
Damn near 20% of the company. And people think of that like, when people say own a company, they're thinking like, oh, the CEO or whoever started the company, they own it. But it's like, no. If you buy enough shares into a company, you have your leverage, you have leeway. If I bought 80% of Opinionated Media, which is never going to happen because nobody's buying it, if I own 80% of it, I can direct you guys where to go. Same thing with all this stuff. The news channels, the entertainment, they're directing everything.
You watched the podcast called Having a Cold One? Cold plunging company that we had on?
No, but my boy in San Antonio, he's like with all that.
Noah or Cade?
Cade.
Yeah.
You guys know Cade?
Yeah,
he's one of the owners of it.
Yeah, both. We had
them
both
I thought he was a co-owner. I didn't want to butcher it.
Yeah. We had both of them.
Yeah, that's my guy. I love
But they came on. He was like, we do everything in house because it's just they don't want to take any investors, and we've said it too. Like, once you take an investor, that's it, because you have to do whatever they want you to do. Then now there's very few companies out there where investors are like, do what you want to do. Very rare,
but very rare.
It happens. One of our good friends, his name is Austin Suter. He owns Dreamer.
House of Dreamer. Dreamer Foundation, like that. You probably have seen the clothing brand. They're pretty popping now in Austin.
Yeah. That was one of the people invested it, and they letting him do what he wants to do, and then he just gets the return, and they're happy.
Yeah, and it's cool too. Like I feel like there's definitely ways to like work around it, because I was just talking to him like about like raising capital, learning how to raise capital, especially like for what we're trying to do long term and like making it a sustainable business. And a lot of the times too, like if you can make a connection with like either a really rich person, a famous person, a professional athlete, whatever, a lot of time they make so much money that the tax bracket is so like they're having to pay so much at the end of every year because of their taxes. So a lot of the times, if you can befriend these people or they can trust in your vision, a lot of times they'll just cut you a check as like a charitable donation, and then for them that's like a write-off too. So it's like it's crazy like when people don't even know, like there's all type of ways to get around it, because like, oh, you can get a check for $100K from somebody, but they're not gonna have any ownership. They're just doing it because they need to do it for their own finances. It's crazy.
Yeah, I love that. I've heard of that before.
Yeah, there's some football players that do it for him.
I heard of people doing that with art, like buying art and then selling it. And like
I have heard of that actually.
Getting a big ass check at the end of the year.
Because for some reason, art's stupid expensive, and it sells. And it's some of the art that sells. I'm just like, how?
Yeah, because it's all subjective. Like I could literally like, if I had a kid, I could literally like have them scribble on a piece of paper, and then like someone could be like, "Oh, I want that," and it's like, really? And then you start pricing it, and then like you have auctions and stuff, and then someone's like, "Oh yeah, I'll pay $10K for that." It's like, what the fuck? Like, all right, sure, you know, $10K. It's crazy.
I mean, it is, because I mean, it has nothing to do with like being good or anything, but like Drake's son drew his new album cover, and you
determine the value, right?
Yeah.
You guys saw you guys see they set up they did an experiment. I don't know where it was, but they set up a luxury shoe store, and they gave it all this, nice branding and everything.
Yes,
they took
yes. Those
stuck
Payless
them in
shoes,
there, and
yes.
these people were paying $800, $900
Yes.
for a $30 Payless shoe
Yes, I
because
saw
of the
that.
brand. Same thing with Louis Vuitton, and same thing with Gucci. And all this
Yeah,
different
all those
stuff.
designer shoes, like I was walking because I've been doing the 75 hard, and I've been walking around the Domain, and there's this one store, I forget what it's called, but the shoes like look very cheap and like almost dirty on purpose. And like a lot of girls wear them. It's like a designer sneaker, and I'm just like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, you're gonna pay like $600, $800 for that shoe, and like to me, I just like Nikes and shit. So it's like I'm like whatever, like I'll just get some J's or whatever. But then I see that shoe, and I'm like, damn, people are really paying for something like that, and like it's not even.
Well, it's
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
When you get into that, it's all like status.
It's all status.
You know, people want to
living up to the Joneses and all that. Keeping up with the Joneses. Yeah.
But I think that's what they want.
Yeah.
It's part of that American dream. I think, I think this is like new modern day slavery, and I hate to say that, but it's like, how do I say this? Back in the day, slaves worked for free. At the end of the day, they got, their
to
food.
live.
They got to live.
To live, literally, and food.
To live.
Yeah.
Now we're paid to pay for us to live. So we're going back and doing the same stuff with it. Oh, we get a raise. Now we're making $100K a year. Well, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to buy the Gucci. I'm going to buy the Louis Vuitton. Now I got a nicer watch. Now I got these, this different
Your
stuff.
cost of living goes up with
Now I got
the
a
money
new
you're making.
apartment, and it's all leveled out, and it's just the same exact stuff. That's how they keep you there. Oh, but I have a nice car now.
But I gotta go make more money.
I got a little bit more money. I'm living. I'm doing my thing, but it's like you're still in that box, and that's kind of why I started my channel, is to kind of help people get the motivation to try and think outside of the box.
Yeah.
That's it.
But at the same time, I mean, I've mentioned this on other podcasts before. You need those people.
Absolutely.
You need them.
No, the world does not run without those people.
Yeah. Like you need the janitors. You need the people that do this. You need the people that do other content, people that game. You need the people who are homeless.
You need people that blow bags to the club.
Yeah, you need
That's damn right. Absolutely.
That's
You
just
need
how
it
it is.
all.
Like you need all those people for the world to run, regardless. That's like the shitty thing about it is like at the end of the day, regardless, you need those people.
Yeah, and I think that's why they want to keep them there or keep us there, because we are the ones that keep everything moving.
Yeah.
And it's kind of sad to say. And I don't say the previous part, trying to discount, people living their life. I think everybody has the right to live the way they want to live, and I'm not judging anybody if they want to live a certain way.
What I've come to terms with lately is everybody has a different version of success, and there's no right or wrong version of success.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, because you could be happy. Just being healthy, waking up every day, healthy, being able to pay all your bills. Like, if you're doing that, you're successful. Right? Like, but obviously, like, there's a level to take it. Like, if you're like doing something like this, it's like, all right, I want to be able to wake up every day, create my own schedule, and also not being capped off by like me working whatever job I have currently. Like, okay, I know I can, work extremely hard, even work late hours, whatever, but I'm still know every 2 weeks or whatever your pay cycle is, I'm still going to only get this set amount sent to me or paid to me until I either, move up because I outwork somebody ahead of me, or they leave or quit or get fired, and then like I get promoted. But when you're doing something like you can control, really, your earning potential is endless too. It's like you can create something where there's infinite value in it, right? Whatever the value you determine it is, it can be. For example, with even like content creators, like our boy Peyton, like grew his podcast to over 200 plus K on YouTube.
Damn.
200. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. In like a year or two.
2 million on YouTube.
2 million on TikTok.
That's mad.
250K on IG, and like he just sold out his first live show ever in Dallas. Now he's doing a live show in New York, and he like posted a screenshot. He's like, damn, it's only been 30 minutes. It's almost sold out. But he's creating value from just him talking in the camera, and now his life has changed forever because people just don't care like whatever it costs or whatever. He's like, they're just like, oh, like we like you, we're gonna support you. And knowing, like, seeing that, and especially when it's someone that's like a really close peer, like you've seen literally the come up, like they've been supporting you since the jump, but you've seen how they've evolutionized. And even like my homie Austin, like started his clothing company. He was at the infancy stages last year, and then now like seeing what he's doing with it, it's just like, all right, you're seeing people like that. It's like, why not push to get into that instead of like, kind of, determining what you're going to determine as your success, right? But at the end of the day, it's okay to just, like I said, you wake up, you're healthy, your bills are paid, you have a roof over your head, you have food, and you can, go about your life. But I think it does just depend on what you're trying to achieve and learning that and also just, still, being around people like that. I mean, not everyone's going to understand it, especially like for us, probably our parents, a lot of the times, like, they just grew up differently. The internet wasn't as, accessible.
Yeah.
Like they didn't see people making, $1 million from sitting on from streaming all day, right? Like that wasn't a thing, A lot of the times it's like, if you told somebody you wanted to start a business, become an entrepreneur, they'd be like, oh, like what's your product? What are you selling? We're doing the same thing. It's just different. It's more modernized. And even when we get older, it's going to be something else. It's crazy.
Yeah. Cause my parents tell me all the time, like, oh, you millennials don't know what hustling is, don't know what working is, and all this and that. Like, we do. It's just not. They're used to the hard labor working.
It's a different hustle.
Hustle. Ours is just more of like the content creation, trying to be an entrepreneur, trying to make it, do day trading, do real estate, stuff like that. It's a different kind of like hustle and labor, but at the end of the day, it's the same thing. It's just in a different way.
I also think too, like, back then hustling was a lot like more obtainable because you're doing like the work and then you get a paycheck on the side. You get extra money on the side right away, as opposed to doing something like content creating, real estate, selling a product. It might take you a minute to hit that bag, but then when you hit it, it's substantial and it becomes passive because it starts to, kind of that work you put in, it starts to kind of reward you long term. It's more of like a
You start to bring in that delayed gratification.
Yes.
Because what, you sell a house, you get paid 30 days after the close or something like that? Or
somewhere. It depends, but somewhere.
Yeah. It's the same thing as like you sell a house and you don't get your whole paycheck until 30 days after it's sold, rather than like.
Yeah, that's with anything though. Even like sales. I'll make a sale. I'll make a sale, but then you got to go through the onboarding process. You got to do this and that, and you got to get invoicing, and then the company got to get paid, then they got to get paid, and then it's like finally comes down to me. Month, 2 months later, it's all the same stuff.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. So I guess a few last questions we have for you. I have, how can we like help you with your vision and your mission, what you're trying to accomplish?
Keep doing what you guys are doing, man. You guys motivate me. I would say follow me on Kyce Wilson, on Instagram. And, just like I said, just continue doing what y'all are doing. You're an inspiration for a lot of people, and including myself. I find motivation from different pieces and a lot of different people, and seeing, young guys like us, continue to fight and push for something better is something that's motivating, not just for me, but for everybody. So that's how you could help me out, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
And then any advice you have for listeners and young people trying to do the same thing as us?
I'd say stay true to yourself. There's a lot of people that criticize you, talk down on you for being who you are, but ultimately all you have at the end of the day is yourself. Even if you have a beautiful girlfriend or husband next to you, you're within your own two, you're within your two ears, it's your brain, it's you. And so I think when you come to terms with who you are and just, really understand that nobody can really change who you are, and that, God or whatever entity you believe in created you the certain way that you are, you need to, maintain in that form. I think a lot of people kind of stray away from what they are because of social media or their friends. They want to kind of fit in. You don't have to fit in at all. Just be exactly who you are, and the right person is going to come for you, and the right friend group is going to come around you. So,
before we hit this off, do you have any shout outs you want to give or anything for us?
No, man. Shout out you guys. Shout out my dad.
Appreciate that.
Love you, Dad. That's my guy. Everybody who's kind of helped me, during this phase of discovery, moving, and leaving school and everything, and everybody who supported me out of all the people who didn't support me, thank you. So,
yeah, cool. Yeah, and we can find you everywhere at
Kyce Wilson.
All right,
at Kyce Wilson. Keeping it real pod on YouTube. I'll be starting that back up. Hopefully pretty soon. So.
Yeah, that camera. It's if it's just you, beautiful camera. If you don't, don't necessarily have all the funds to get everything, because this shit's expensive.
Yeah.
Still a shotgun mic on it. The quality of the camera's good. The mic will pick up your voice. There you go.
Yeah,
and
I'll do it. And then hopefully I get you guys on.
Yeah,
down.
no, that, yeah,
we
we're
told him
just
today
talking about
because
that.
he told me today that I was like, oh, he also has his own podcast. I was like, we need to start getting on more podcasts because we've only been on technically 2 other ones, but one other one together. So we went on to the Riser one that was together, and then him and I separately went on to this other girl's podcast that we had on. She invited us onto her podcast.
Yeah,
but we went individually.
Yeah.
So
no, definitely. Whenever you get that going, let us know. We need guests, and even like from our network, we'll send people over your way.
Yeah.
And then once we get this spot next year too, you want to take your content to another level, just hit us up and we'll help you out too. So
yeah, bro, I appreciate that, and I appreciate you guys letting me hear as well. Like I said, a lot of respect for what you guys do. I think it's a statistic. I think most podcasts don't get past 5. Was it 5 episodes?
I think
somebody said that.
Yeah, it's like the most podcasts. Most people can't shoot more than 1, and then if they get to 5, the percentages are substantially low. And then it's like after 10%, like if you get through 10% or 10 episodes, you're in the 1% of podcasters.
Who told us that?
It was I saw it online, but someone told us it. I can't remember. It was
I saw it online as well.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
It makes sense.
We're almost at 100.
I mean, we've shot a lot over because we've shot a bunch of sports shows. Like we've shot.
Well, just this show, we're almost at.
This is like
100, right?
yeah. You're probably. I think your guess like 87, maybe.
Really?
Yeah. So like we
That's
just.
a shit ton.
That's
Yeah.
just a guest.
Yeah, exactly.
We have a whole
But
football
you
show.
guys do a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
so
we have a whole football show. We have another show called Roundtable.
Are y'all
We
gonna
have
be doing something this weekend for UT?
So our plan is eventually. We've done it technically twice.
Yeah, because we went to Texas A&M or Texas Bama last year, and then I went to Tech with a couple of the guys in the company.
They play
Texas as well.
Eventually, because this was before COVID was a thing. I had a thing that I wanted to do. Then COVID hit, so it kind of ruined it. But it's kind of a good thing that it ruined it. But I want to go to different states, games, and whatnot, cities, and interview people.
Yeah.
At the tailgates.
That would blow up, bro.
Yeah. And I think it would be something too, like
it's just
it's just expensive, and then like we'd have to
travel,
learn how to because I told them I want it to be something where probably in the next couple of years to where we can look at the schedule for this season and buy the tickets for everyone up in advance, get all the flights, all the staying all at once, and then Monday through Wednesday or Thursday, we're doing stuff here. And then on the weekend, we're traveling to these different games weekly and doing that all season. We could obviously do that video, and then we could do like our live show, maybe like Friday there or whatever that we do for sports stuff, and just really try to like build this new media. Is what like a lot of people call like Pat McAfee. I mean, ESPN just gave him the bag because he made his own audience on YouTube, and ESPN is like, all right, we're losing like the traditional TV audience because now you can pick and choose.
Yeah.
Even like ESPN and Fox, like I watched Joel Klatt and I watched like Greg McElroy. Like they work for Fox and ESPN, but they have their own shows on YouTube. And I'm like, oh, I can just watch it on YouTube, and I don't gotta like be on TV and like catch it at a certain time. So I think like that's a big advantage YouTube is creating now.
Yeah.
And also people, and Josh Pate, like he's like one of the biggest football, like college football, like YouTubers, but like he's created his own audience. Like I'm gonna probably listen to him before I listen to anyone on TV.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I didn't think about that. Yeah. You're so right. Even like even in like politics, like who is it? Oh man, Tucker Carlson. Like they let him go, and he's like, "Fuck it, I'll take it to Twitter." And then like number one most viewed interview ever. He just brings his following. It doesn't matter the company or enterprise that you're attached with.
As long as you have a platform to put it on, like people are gonna go, and then they can like pick and dictate what they want to watch and stuff. So I think that's the cool thing.
Last thing I want to leave with you, a quote that our videographer told them. I might butcher it here a little bit, but it's how many dreams are you stopping by not chasing your own?
I love that.
How many dreams are you stopping by not chasing your own?
Who made this quote?
The boy Albert.
He made it, or he saw it somewhere?
He just kind of said it. He was like, Albert, shout out Albert, Toga Media, main videographer. But he basically said, because one time our boy Steve, who's like another guy within our media company, me and him were shooting a podcast, and we'll start back up probably once we have a studio called Keep It a Buck, which is more like, it's more like this, like kind of like it's like health, wellness, and then music because me and him love music. So kind of like trying to mix things up, but like a change of pace type of deal. And Steve was having like he's a perfectionist. Like he wants everything to be exactly right every time before he releases it. And then Albert was like, how many people's dreams are you like? Yeah, it's hard. It's always butchered too. But
how many people's dreams are you stopping by not chasing your own?
Yes, and that goes back to what we were saying earlier about people just wanting to only edit. Only shoot with a camera. I was gonna go with that. You know, there's people that literally that's all they want to do, and that's fine. So it's like us providing this, and then eventually becoming, a bigger company, and then having like a production / consulting side where we help people with content. We create jobs and opportunities for people who want to do that, who might not, get opportunities to work with people because, I mean, it's hard to get into that kind of space without knowing someone. So,
And the biggest thing for me one day is what you just heard earlier is inspiring people. If we can inspire somebody to make a podcast, that would make more than my day, my life.
I'm sure you have too. I'm sure you have.
That would mean a lot to me. So just inspiring people is the other big thing.
Yeah.
But this was fun. Again,
Very
thank
fun.
you.
Yeah, y'all are sick, man.
Hopefully it won't be the last time, but appreciate you coming out, taking time out your day.
Yeah.
They can find you everywhere at Kyce Wilson, and the podcast is Keeping It Real with Kyce.
Keeping It Real Pod.
Keeping It Real Pod is what you change it to?
Yeah.
Okay. Go give him a follow. Go show him some love on YouTube. His podcast will be starting up back shortly. But that'll do it for your boys over here at Opinionated. We'll catch y'all guys next time. Peace.
Peace.